Made-up office vs battlefield. Putin vs Zelenskyy. Carlson Tucker vs Brett Bayer. Lies against truth. Good afternoon. Henrik Keen is here at UATV English with more hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world, directly from Ukraine as usual. Volodymyr Zelenskyy gave an interview to US TV channel Fox News, or Fox News took the interview from him. Not sure, really. Well, if you haven't watched it, I really recommend you to. And the point is not that Fox News is one of the largest TV channels in the United States. Well, frankly, it is the point, but it's a secondary one. The main one is the Zelenskyy interview can be considered a response to the pseudo-historian Putin's lecture to Carlson Tucker. Tucker is a former host of Unix Fox News channel, and I think that we might see Zelensky's interview with Carlson, despite that the interview would be quite an unpleasant persuade for the president, but this is his job after all. I hope that an interview with Fox will show the Republican audience in all over the world the Ukrainian reality. The Republican voters love their guns, so they see brave men carrying guns in Ukraine. They have seen excerpts from the action blockbuster movie, just only the real one. The Republican voters above all value personal freedom and self-confidence, self-sufficiency, so they were told and shown how Ukraine is fighting on its own. And we need help not because we are weak and in need of a handout, we need help because we are so cool that we can do much greater things, we can win against bigger enemies with a little help. Because we are our own men and women, people like you, dear rednecks and conservative Republicans. You go hunting, wear camouflage, lights a fire, you show strength, you act, you tolerate no disrespect. We do the same. Only we will fight for real, for survival, right here now, while you watch that blockbuster of a sort while drinking beer. Journalist Brett Bayer said that President Zelenskyy directly responds to criticism of himself and tries to get the support of the whole world. Hell of a task, isn't it? Wouldn't it worth your respect? And it is worth noting also the location. Zelenskyy was interviewed a little more than 2 miles from the very front line near Kupiansk city. This plot contrasts sharply with Carlson's slick interview with dictator Putin. Instead of marble and chandeliers of the Moscow subway, a snowy battlefield and the sounds of gunfire. Instead of a luxurious office with gold leaves on the cars of furniture, a field headquarters with a lit fire. Instead of the make-up Carlson and his subservient support, a courageous Bayer in a warm jacket and with direct questions about military loss to Zelenskyy. Frankly, who's the real macho here? The European Union adopted the 13th package of sanctions against Russia, which included 106 individuals and 88 legal entities. All the entities included in the list are related in particular to the military and defense sectors. These companies and people are involved in supply of weapons from North Korea to the Russian Federation, the deportation and hiding of Ukrainian children.
As we reach the sad mark of 2 years since Vladimir Putin launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the European Union keeps up the pressure on Russia. Today, we are further tightening the restrictive measures against Russia's military and defense sector, targeting further entities in third countries who supply equipment, as well as those responsible for the illegal deportation and military re-education of Ukrainian children. We remain united in our determination to tend Russia's war machine and help Ukraine win its legitimate fight for self-defense and restore its independence, territorial integrity and sovereignty. Joseph Borrell, High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy.
In general, EU restrictive measures regarding actions that undermine or threaten the territorial integrity, sovereignty and independence of Ukraine currently apply to more than 2,000 individuals and legal entities. Well, these individuals are subject to asset freezes, and EU citizens and companies are prohibited from providing them with funds. Individuals are also subject to an entry ban, which prohibits them from entering or transiting even through the EU. Oh, it sounds like leprosy quarantine for Russians. The Council of the EU has added 27 new subjects to the list. Of those who directly support Russia's military-industrial complex, they are subject to stricter export restrictions and dual-use goods and technologies, and those that help technologically improve Russia's defense and security sector. Some of these companies and organizations are based in third countries like India, Sri Lanka, China, Serbia, Kazakhstan, Thailand and Turkey. They help Russia circumvent sanctions, produce and develop electronic components for weapons. The press release states. The thing is, EU sanctions are far from being at its peak maximum. Russia continues to use a number of opportunities of the world economy to build up the potential of waging the war against Ukraine, of course. We expect the adoption of another package of sanctions in the near future, without delay. It has been a week since the death of Alexey Navalny, a murder, because it is a murder. As everybody knows, he was murdered by Vladimir Putin. As I said earlier, Russia is silent about it. Well, let me explain why. Indeed, 400 people were detained in memory of Alexei, a 47-year-old former lawyer, Alexey Navalny, fell unconscious and died on Friday after a walk at the Polar Wolf. This is the name of the Arctic penal colony in Russia where he was kept by the Kremlin for 3-decade sentence. 3 decades. That itself is a death sentence, isn't it? Police had detained at least 74 people in St. Petersburg and at least 49 in Moscow, the country's 2 largest cities. Individual arrests in smaller cities across Russia reported from the border city of Belgrade, for example, to Vorkuta, an Arctic mining outpost, once a center of the Stalin-era Gulag labor camps. It will be the largest wave of arrests at political events in Russia since September 2022, when more than 1,300, if I'm not mistaken, were arrested at demonstrations against the partial mobilization of reservists for the military campaign in Ukraine. So in easy terms, let's add 400 arrested last weekend and 1,300 people arrested back then. So in total, it is 2,700 people for Russia, with a 140 million population. What is it? No 0.000 something percent for those who are not okay with dictatorship, with torture, with murder of someone who they called a symbol of freedom? This is why I call these protests no protests at all. Kira Yarmysh later said that Navalny's mother and lawyer went to see the morgue in Salechat city, the town near the prison complex, to find it closed, of course. Well, of course, this is Russia. And after a week, there is no body of Navalny found. So Putin shows once again, he not only can kill his main political opponent, but hide the body. Like there was no Navalny at all, and no one in the whole world could not do anything about it. Just some condolences and promises of revenge on words. But the fact is, nobody knows where Navalny's body is, actually. His mother has demanded that his body be handed over to his family. Indeed, it looks like Putin was so afraid of Navalny while he was alive that he even fears him when he is dead. Thank you so very much for watching. It was Henry Kio on UATV Studio, bringing the hard truth in easy terms as usual. And I hope you, as usual, like what we do for you. If you really do, please help us in return. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to deliver Ukrainian voice worldwide and make it be heard. Let us know what you think on the matter in the comments below. We appreciate that a lot too. Stay safe and tune for more on our weekly show. Thank you, folks. See you soon.